From Pacifica, this is Democracy Now!
Women and minorities own low single-digit percentages of America's broadcast outlets, and big consolidated media continues to slam the door in their faces. It's going to take some major policy changes and a coordinated strategy to fix that.
Today, a wide-ranging conversation with the longest-serving FCC commissioner in history, Michael Copps, on media ownership, the future of the Internet, and threats to good journalism. We'll also speak with Copps about this week's Supreme Court hearing on the Federal Communication Commission's broadcast indecency rules. It all began in 1978 with comedian George Carlin on Pacifica Radio.
I think the word is a very important word. It's the beginning of life, and yet it's a word we use to hurt one another quite often. And people much wiser than I have said, I'd rather have my son watch a film with two people making love than two people trying to kill one another.
Then an Iranian nuclear scientist is assassinated, this one blown up in his car as tensions increase between the U.S. and Iran.
I think it's important to recognize very clearly that the provocative rhetoric coming out of Iran in the last week has been quite concerning.
We'll speak with Trita Parsi about Obama's diplomacy with Iran. All that and more coming up. Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. Afghan President Hamid Karzai has condemned a video appearing to show 4 uniformed U.S. Marines urinating on the corpses of 3 dead Afghan men. Karzai said in a statement, quote, "This act by American soldiers is simply inhuman and condemnable in the strongest possible terms." The video was posted online Wednesday. In the video, one Marine says, "Have a great day, buddy." Another jokes, "Golden like a shower." The Marines said it had launched an investigation. CNN reports the Marines in the video are carrying .30 caliber sniper rifles and wearing helmets issued to members of Marine Corps sniper teams. Desecration of a body by U.S. troops could be considered a potential war crime. Local Afghan residents warned the video could derail the possibility of peace talks with the Taliban.
We
condemn this action by U.S. soldiers who have urinated on the dead bodies of Taliban fighters. It will harm the peace talks. It seems the U.S. never want peace talks to happen in Afghanistan, and this action will increase misery in our country.
A military trial is continuing for Sergeant Frank Ruderich, the last of the U.S. Marines charged in the massacre of 24 Iraqi civilians in the Iraqi village of Haditha in November 2005. On Wednesday, a fellow Marine testified that Wuderich called for violent retaliation against Iraqi citizens if they were attacked. Wuderich allegedly told his men, quote, "If we ever get hit again, we should kill everyone in that vicinity." Wuderich faces 9 counts of voluntary manslaughter. During the trial, another soldier admitted he urinated on the skull of one of the dead Iraqis. Nigerian oil workers have threatened to shut down Nigeria's oil production as a general strike continues to cripple the country for a 4th day. Nigeria is Africa's top crude producer and is a key supplier to the United States. The strike against rising fuel costs and corruption have shut down most of Nigeria's banks, shops, airports, and schools. According to accounts in the Nigerian press, at least 22 people have died since the nationwide protests began on Monday. On Wednesday, several hundred protesters took over a major highway leading to wealthy neighborhoods in Lagos. One protester at the demonstration held out a plate of rice and beans while condemning Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan.
Jonathan is eating 3 million every day. This is what I'm eating. This is what I'm eating. We will fight. We will not stop. This must end.
Iran is urging the United Nations to condemn Wednesday's assassination of yet another Iranian nuclear scientist. Iran described the attack as cruel, inhumane, and criminal acts of terrorism. Mustafa Ahmadi Rashan became the 5th Iranian nuclear scientist assassinated in recent years. Iran blamed Israel and the United States for the attack. Pentagon spokesperson George Little denied U.S. involvement.
The United States played no role whatsoever in the killing of this scientist. And as to the broader question of tensions, we have been very clear that we seek to lower the temperature on tensions with Iran. And we think that things have calmed down a bit in recent days.
In campaign news, a group of conservative Christian leaders are meeting in Texas this weekend in an effort to unite the Christian right around a candidate other than frontrunner Mitt Romney. Invited attendees include James Dobson, founder of Focus on the Family, and Don Wildman of the American Family Association. The meeting is taking place in Texas at the ranch of Paul Pressler, a former judge and influential Southern Baptist. In campaign finance news, the Republican National Committee is urging a federal appeals court to throw out a century-old ban on corporate donations to federal political campaigns. The RNC is claiming the law violates the First Amendment in light of the 2010 Citizens United ruling that allowed unlimited donations to independent expenditure groups. In its brief, the RNC complains that the corporate ban artificially disadvantages political parties and candidate committees by forcing them to rely on small dollar donations from individuals, while super PACs can receive unlimited corporate donations. In related news, the Obama campaign revealed today it and the Democratic National Committee have raised more than $220 million in 2011, exceeding the campaign's internal target of $200 million. A new survey by the Pew Research Center has found nearly two-thirds of Americans believe there's a strong or very strong class conflict between the rich and poor. The survey found Americans now believe there's more conflict between the rich and poor than between immigrants and native-born or between blacks and whites. Meanwhile, a new study by Indiana University has found 46 million Americans are living in poverty last year, an increase of nearly 11 million since 2006. In news from Syria, a French journalist was among several people killed in a grenade or mortar attack in the city of Homs Wednesday. Gilles Jacquier is believed to be the first Western reporter to have died in 10 months of unrest in Syria. He worked for France 2 television. Jacquier was killed while covering a pro-government rally that he was attending as part of a government-authorized tour of Homs. Memorials are being held in Haiti to mark the 2-year anniversary of the devastating earthquake that killed roughly 300,000 people and left more than 1.5 million Haitians homeless. 2 years later, the recovery process is just beginning in parts of Haiti. 500,000 people are still living in crowded camps. According to the United Nations, of the $4.5 billion pledged after the earthquake, only about $2.4 billion has been delivered. Only half of the debris littering the capital Port-au-Prince and its surrounding areas has been cleared. Becky Wett is a spokesperson for the Red Cross.
2 years after the anniversary, and up to 500,000 people are still living in camps in Haiti, just like this one here in Maïgaté. The Red Cross has been working to help decongest camps, which means help families leave the camps they're in and move to a more dignified, more appropriate, more sustainable solution. Here in this camp, we've helped 1,500 families leave. That means mainly through rental support, providing financial support so that people can move to the nearby area, where most of them have come from anyway, and into a rental property.
Haitian residents say entire neighborhoods in Port-au-Prince have been ignored during the recovery process.
2 years after, nothing has been done in the poorest neighborhoods. As a citizen, within the poor neighborhoods, we have found that there was not a policy for housing, and that's why so many people have died.
We'll be talking more about Haiti tomorrow on Democracy Now! With Randall Robinson, the founder of TransAfrica. The Mexican government is now saying over 47,000 people have been killed in Mexico since President Felipe Calderón declared a war on drug traffickers in 2006. Nearly 13,000 people have died in the first 9 months of 2010. Some analysts say the actual toll is considerably higher. The Mexican Census Agency has identified 67,000 homicides from 2007 through 2010, nearly double the government's count of drug-related deaths for that period. In news from China, dozens of factory workers assembling Xbox video game consoles threatened to commit suicide last week. The workers climbed to the roof of the factory in a protest reportedly over wages. The factory is owned by the manufacturing giant Foxconn, which makes parts for Microsoft's Xbox console, as well as iPads and iPhones for Apple. Hundreds of protesters gathered outside the White House and Supreme Court Wednesday to mark the 10th anniversary of the U.S. prison at Guantanamo Bay. Demonstrators called Cuba for the closure of the prison and the end of the U.S. policy of indefinite detention. And Tiffany is a longtime activist from Syracuse, New York.
We want to send a very strong message to the White House, to the Supreme Court, to the Capitol, that, in fact, Guantanamo breaks international law, that prison is illegal, and action should be taken to close it. And I'm hoping that that message with all of these people will get through.
The Electronic Frontier Foundation filed a lawsuit Wednesday against the Federal Aviation Administration seeking more information on how law enforcement agencies are using unmanned drones inside the United States. The FAA has reportedly authorized more than 270 drone flights inside the United States, with 35% being flown by the Pentagon, 11% by NASA, and 5% by the Department of Homeland Security. Jennifer Lynch, attorney for EFF, said, quote, "The use of drones in American airspace could dramatically increase the physical tracking of citizens, tracking that can reveal deeply personal details about our private lives." And today marks the 100th anniversary of the Bread and Roses textile workers' strike in Lawrence, Massachusetts. Led by the industrial workers of the world, the strike lasted for 2 months and is considered one of the nation's most important strikes. And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman.
And I'm Juan Gonzalez. Welcome to all of our listeners and viewers around the country and around the world.